Hi everybody, so welcome to this Equipilates class. Hope you're all raring to go. So it's just the ball tonight for the class. So we're just going to start feet with the ball in between our ankles. Feet are approximately hip distance, and let's just challenge the balance and start working into your feet. I'm actually going to come off my mat, it's easier off the phone. So we're just going to lift up onto the toes and lower back down. So keep squeezing those ankles in towards your ball. So you're going to feel inner thigh engage. Probably get a wee bit of pelvic floor as well. And obviously we're just mobilizing the feet, which are really important because anybody that clenches with their toes in the stirrups or whenever they're in their boots has a knock-on effect the whole way up your legs. So basically if you scrunch into your toes, legs get tense, and then your glutes actually get tight as well, so you're more likely to start bouncing in the saddle. So trying to keep the feet nice and soft and mobile. I know they're in boots, but trying to just keep them nice and relaxed in your boots is a win-win. Okay, at the top of the next one, we're going to stay up, and then we're going to lower one arm down and back up. Whoop. And then lower the other arm down and back up and then come down. Let's do that 2 more times, so total of 3. Lifting up, lower one arm, lower the second arm, and down. And last one, I'm probably not going to beat that one. See, you think it happens. Oh dear, and lower the other one, and down, well done. So just gently roll down to pick your ball up from your ankles. And then we're going to take the ball overhead, bend the elbows and just get a tricep stretch. So just taking the ball behind the head, and up and over. So just gently starting to mobilize shoulders and coming into a few arm muscles here as well. Again, if you do anything you don't like the feel of, please just stop. I'm not there to supervise, so again, if anything is sore, just don't push it, please. Last one. We're going to mobilise into the shoulder blades now. Obviously it's good to have mobile shoulder blades, but we also need to stabilise the shoulder blades. So we're going to just reach the ball out in front, keeping the arms straight, just gently try and roll the ball. So one hand rolls away, the other one comes a bit closer and back, and then roll the other way. So you're going to feel like one shoulder blade comes around your back and forwards and coming back to centre, and then reach the other one away and back. Last time. And again, just lower, give the arms a breather. I'm going to do exactly the same now with the arms overhead. So from this position, just reach one arm up and down, reach the other arm up and down. So hopefully you feel like one shoulder comes closer to your ear, and then the other shoulder comes closer to your ear. Shoulder blades are only on our ribcage 3 muscle attachments. There's obviously no joint from the shoulder blades except onto the shoulder at the front. But they're actually just held onto our ribs by muscles. So it's good to get the tension out of those muscles before we start to strengthen them. Okay, well done. Just set the ball down. And let's just mobilise into the hips and the lower back. So just gently sway left to right. Just noticing how much movement you have each direction. Does one hip feel like it maybe gets a bit stuck compared to the other side? Don't feel too bad today. Normally my left side feels I don't travel as far. Again, just being aware where you feel maybe the restriction is. Is it inner thigh? Is it the actual hip joint? Is it your back? Again, just be aware of what's happening. And then balance challenge today is going to be a standing plan. So standing on one leg, the other foot is just coming on to your ankle. And you're just going to take the knee in front and then take the knee out to the side. Obviously this is a lot harder when you're lying down, so this is really just from a balance and mobility, hip mobility. Standing leg, you can probably start to feel a bit of the shin muscles working. And other side. What? Practice makes perfect. Well done. Okay, so balance challenge again. We're just going to repeat what we did last week, if you did that class. So it's heel to toe, arms out in front, shoulder height. When you feel like you're stable enough, we're going to close our eyes. Try and hold it for 15 seconds. So normally as soon as your eyes close, the body kind of goes, oh my God, what's going on? And then the ankle joints really start to wiggle, because the brain uses 50% of the 50% vision is the input to help your balance. So you lose 50% of the information you need to stay balanced, and then switch the feet round. So then the brain's relying on what the joints are telling the body and what the inner ear is telling the body. And for somebody like me who's wrecked an ankle 2 years ago, probably the receptors in my right ankle are not really back to 100%. And it's just a way of getting the brain to listen more to what the joints are telling them. And that's really important from a rider perspective, because that's where you get your awareness and your feel, as we all talk about, that, you know, the best riders have really good feel. But you can train feel, so we're just trying to get the brain to listen more to what the body's actually doing. Okay, so let's cross the legs. Gently roll the chin in towards the chest, slowly roll down. So we're obviously going to get a bit more of a stretch into the back leg here. So just take it slowly, go down as far as you can comfortably go. Deep breath in, rolling back up. Switch it round the other way, cross the legs over. And again, slowly roll down. One leg could be tighter than the other, so just be careful. Deep breath in and slowly restack. We're going to do some slow tempo squats now with just body weight. Feet can be a wee bit wider than hip distance. We're going to go down to the count of 5 and then come quickly back up again. So it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, just starting to get some strength into these legs. Obviously, we're squatting all the time when we're riding. And just changing the tempo. Just puts the muscles under tension for a longer period of time. So if you are starting to feel like this is a bit harder, that's why, because obviously we're taking longer to go down. So the muscles are lengthening as we lower. And squeezing into your glutes to come back up. I, of course, have no idea how many we've done. I'm going to say that's 7. 8. 9. 10. Well done. So balance challenge today again. We're going to stand on one leg, soft knee, take the other leg out behind, and then just keeping the back straight, fold forwards at your hip. We're going to lift and lower the back leg 5 times. So keeping the pelvis square, shoulders are square, lift and lower. 1, 2. So you're really targeting the glute on the lifting leg. And again, balance and standing on that other front leg. There's number 5, lifting. Well done. Change sides. So again, shoulders and pelvis stay square. Hinge forwards from the hip. And then lift and lower the back leg. 5. So the pelvis shouldn't come with the leg. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. So we're going to lunge and finish with again a single leg stance. So five times you're going to lunge backwards. And then good demo. And then come up into your knee float. So lunge back, drive that knee up, pull the toes up towards the ceiling. 1, 2, try and keep the chest up as you lunge. 3, 4, 5. Other side. Exactly the same. Try and keep the chest up, step back, drive that leg forwards. You can stand on one leg if you're helpful. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Well done. Roll down to the floor, so we're getting down onto the mat. So half a roll down. Bend the knees, coming down onto our mat. So if you have your ball or cushion, we're going to have that in between our knees with our knees bent. Just place your fingertips on the front of your pelvis, just for the next exercise. But from here, all I want you to do is you're going to breathe into your tummy. So breathing in, tummy should lift up towards the ceiling. And breathing out, just gently drops down. And take 5 breaths in. Just have your tongue resting on the roof of your mouth. Breathing in through your nose and breathing out through your nose. Try and get as deep a breath as you can. And last time. Arms are coming out into a T. Anchor the shoulder blades down on the floor. If you're just going to move into some spine mobility, a bit of core as well. You're just going to rock the knees from side to side. 1 foot lifts. Push that top knee away from you. Each time you take the knees out to the side. So the shoulder blades stay down on the floor. They're anchored down. And we're just rotating pelvis left to right. Start off with a small range. Don't shock all the muscles on your spine in the first couple of movements. So just start small, and then if everything feels fine, if the muscles are starting to release, then you can start to take the knees further over. Still keep thinking though that you're pushing that top knee away. Notice just how far and how comfortable you are going left to right. This movement again, this is where we have the shoulders still and the pelvis is moving. So this would occur in the likes of Travers, canter transitions, certainly other lateral work, circles, turning, where the pelvis needs to help move the horse. For those who want a bit more tummy work now, just to get the core a wee bit more involved, when the knees are off to the side, gently press the knees into the ball and extend that top leg away, and then bend to come back. So what you should have the feeling of is you want to drag the rib cage back first, get the ribs down, then the pelvis, and then the knees basically just follow after the pelvis. You'll also find that you really need to anchor the shoulder blades down now when the leg is extended. So that's when you've just got to get that tummy really engaged, stabilised. So again, we're controlling the movement of the pelvis and just strengthening these muscles up. So again, that top waist is lengthening. I'm going to hear that a bit tonight about lengthening muscles. So from a riding perspective, we want the muscles to take and hold the weight or the load as they're lengthening. A lot of the time when people train in the gym, they're training the muscles constantly to get short, like a bicep curl, you're trying to get big biceps. That's not ideal from a riding perspective. We want the muscles to get strong and long, so they catch our weight if we move out of our optimal position. Okay, well done. So coming back to that centre position, you need to readjust your ball. And let's come into some shoulder bridges from here. We're going to involve the arms today. So as we take the hips up towards the ceiling, we're going to take the arms up and overhead as well. So you get a lovely stretch through both sides of the waist. So standing into your feet, gently squeeze into the ball. Hips come up, arms come right overhead, so long as that's comfortable enough for everybody's shoulders. And then we're going to lower hips back down. Keep that long lumbar spine. And then arms come back. And again, making sure we're on big toe, little toe and heel. Get a nice stretch through the front of the thighs, but make sure we haven't got too much weight coming onto the back of our head. Weight should be coming onto the shoulder blade area, not the back of your head. So you only want to feel like you can lift your head quite easily at the top of your bridge. And even if you do lift your head, just look and can you look and see what the hip bones are doing, or is your pelvis level? Because we want to have these hips totally level, otherwise we've got a twist going on through the spine and pelvis, which often happens when we're riding. I'm going to do 10. This is number 5. Really feel like you can get into those glutes. So the glutes are squeezing and lifting the hips up. And you're still on your foot tripod. So you're on your big toe, your little toe on your heel. Pelvis lands nice and symmetrically back down on the mat each time. I'm trying to create length in the spine as we lower back down. Probably discover that every class is going to have these in it, so if you don't like shoulder bridges, you may fast forward. Although, from a riding perspective, this is probably the go-to exercise for us all, because we don't work the back of the body enough. Helps us with our posture, helps keep us upright. We use these muscles whenever we are landing after a fence. Anybody jumps or cross countries. Last one, just for good measure, because I can't count. And down. Well done. Okay. Ball is coming out from our knees and we're putting it under one foot. Find a comfortable position for the lower back. But make sure shoulder blades are nicely down on the floor, slightly tuck the chin in so we're nice and long through the neck. And then we're going to float the other leg up towards the ceiling. So small circles with the free leg without the pelvis moving. So again, we're just using the leg as a weight for us to work against. So we're training the core muscles, stabilise the pelvis, and allowing the leg to move. We're going to go 5 circles one way, and then 5 circles the other. So obviously with the foot on the ball, we've destabilised ourselves a bit. You can destabilise yourself even more by just taking your arms away from the floor. That's change legs. So then you're not relying on your elbows to kind of keep yourself propped up on either side. And again, find comfort through a comfortable position through the spine, and then circle. Again, how stable are you now in this side compared to the other? How freely does the leg move? How much are you counterbalancing with the other leg? So does this knee go out to the side as this leg goes out to the side? So that's a cheat. And I catch myself doing it there, which is why I said it. And again, circle the other direction. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. Set the ball just to one side, holding the back of one of the thighs, just bend, straighten that leg to the ceiling. Just release hamstrings. A lot of people talk about having tight hamstrings, can't touch their toes. Sometimes it can also be related to the sciatic nerve, which we released in last week's class. So you can release sciatic nerve when the leg is straight and just point and flex the ankle. But again, just be wary here. If you get too much tingling going up your leg and into your foot, just decrease the range, or just don't do the bringing the toes towards you part of the exercise. And change, so because the sciatic nerve is the main nerve that comes from your back and provides the information to and from the leg. So obviously if it's caught by tight muscles, it actually creates more spasm in the muscles to try and protect itself, which then creates the tightness in the leg. And the other downside would be if the sciatic nerve then isn't functioning well, you then can start to lose information, so you don't have the same, again, feel from that leg, and you don't get the same response from the muscles. So if you want to apply your leg as a leg aid and the nerve's not working properly, you'll not get the response you want. Those who want to, with the leg straight, just very gently point and flex. Okay, so we're going to destabilise ourselves a bit more, and we're going to place our ball or cushion at the back of our pelvis. Make sure it's closer to your tailbone and it's not in your lower back, because you want to keep the length in the lower back rather than arching over the ball. So make sure you still can think tailbone slightly lifted. Gently, just to start to mobilise the lower back, just do some small circles of the pelvis around the ball. So one hip drops down, and then the other hip drops down, and then you come to your tailbone. And then the other direction. Just imagine you're trying to stir some soup in a bowl, and you're just circling round. If anybody's lower back does not like being on their cushion or ball, you can do all of these exercises completely flat on the mat. It can be a lovely way to mobilise the lower back, so if anybody does have back issues, this can be really nice to release the lower back off. But if you're not liking the feeling of it, please just come flat down. So let's find a neutral position or a comfortable position from here. Have your hip bones level, so just look and see, are your hips level? Very gently to start, take one knee out to the side and then back up again. So the foot's going to come onto its edge. Take your arms off the floor if you want a bit more of a challenge, so you can't prop yourself or stabilise yourself on your arms. Non-moving legs should be absolutely still. My right leg is definitely not still. My left leg's moving, it's still not. I always tend to find it's a lot harder for me to stabilise my pelvis and move my left leg. More practice required. So for those who want more of a challenge, you can lift and then take the leg out to the side. I'm now going to put my elbows back down again. Give me a wee bit of help. So float the leg and then take the thigh. So same principles apply. Don't let the hip drop on the moving side. So because we've shifted the pelvis onto the ball, it's a lot harder for us to keep the pelvis still now. So tummy is really going to, or the core is going to really have to kick in here to keep ourselves as still as possible. Well done. Let's go one more each side. And we can come straight into some simple knee floats. So arms start, we can start with them down by our side until we get the feel of it. So from here down, alternately just lift and lower. And where you really feel like you need to work here to stabilise is that just moment when you start to lift the leg away from the floor. That's when the hip's going to want to drop down. So before you lift, engage into that core and then lift. So the pelvis stays still. Well done. Again, if you want a challenge, arms are coming up towards the ceiling. And you can take the opposite arm back as the knee comes up into your knee float. This is level 1. For those who have done a bit and want to increase the core work, we are coming up into double tabletops. That means both feet are off the floor, arms are off the floor, and then you're going to extend one leg out on a diagonal, take the opposite arm overhead, and slowly back in. And switch. So the lower you go with the leg, the more you have to control. Take it slowly. The only thing that's keeping you stable on the ball is your core. Doing really well. This is not easy. We also get the foam rollers out. They're definitely everybody's nemesis. But if you can crack, this exercise is called dead bugs. If you can crack dead bugs in a foam roller, you're definitely symmetrical. Okay, from here, just gently pull both knees in towards your chest for a second, take a breather. We're going to do one more exercise here and I'm going to get a really lovely stretch. Okay, one foot's coming back down onto the floor. We're going to cycle or bicycle the single leg, and then for those who want to, you can do it with both feet elevated. So basically you're coming up, taking the leg up towards the ceiling and then lowering that leg down. Drag your toes along your mat for the floor to come back up. Pulling the knee towards your shoulder to start, reach up towards the ceiling, lower down. So what this exercise is doing is we're using eccentric, which basically means lengthening of the hip flexor and controlling it as the leg lowers to the floor. Again, this is this long and strong. So it means that the hip flexors can catch us if we get a bit out of balance in the saddle, and we don't strain or pull or injure ourselves in the process. Because if you imagine horse books, your weight gets shifted and muscle has to lengthen at the same time and catch your body weight. So for those who want to switch legs. For those who are feeling game, we're going to cycle one leg and cycle the other leg. Again, pelvis should be staying nice and still. Drag the toes along the mat. My coordination's completely gone. I'm going to get a lovely hip flexor stretch after this. One more each leg. Well done. Just grab one knee, really hug that knee in, and then just reach the other leg out towards the floor, trying to get the foot down if you can. So if you're tight, you're going to feel a good stretch here, which I do. So you hear a lot about tight hip flexors, weak glutes. Unfortunately, tight can mean weak as well. So these types of exercises are just great for us because they strengthen the muscles as they are lengthening, as opposed to strengthening them, keeping them short. Which is why Pilates ends up with you get nice lean bodies. Rather than chunky weightlifting bodies. Chunky weightlifting bodies are definitely not a rider trait. Switch the legs round, so again, hug the knee in and then straighten the other leg out. I feel totally different on this side. So just hang out here for about 20-30 seconds. If you do a lot of sitting in your job or driving, and you are finding this it would be a great thing to do, even just lying here for a couple of minutes on each side and just passively just letting the weight of the leg start to just stretch into the front of the hip joint. We need to have this openness through the hip joint, certainly for dressage. I just can gently stretch that muscle out a bit. Okay, we're rolling off the ball. I just want you to take a couple of seconds just to feel what the lower back is like now down on the mat. You should hopefully feel it's lovely and flat and released. And then when you're ready, we're going to come up to sitting. So whatever way you like, I'm going to just sort of hug my knees in and pull myself up. So just take your ball. Cushion isn't going to roll just as well here, but you can do it without the ball. So what I just want you to do is legs are out in a V. You can bend your knees if you are tight in your hamstrings. And from here, all I want you to do is either fingertips on the floor, just slide as far as you can comfortably go and back in again, or roll your ball. So roll the ball away. And pull back in. So you may feel like you're getting a bit of a hamstring stretch, maybe getting into inner thigh here as well. If your inner thighs are tight. Last one. So we're going to place our cushion or ball in between our ankles and just gently squeeze. So we're getting again inner thigh. Arms are coming out into a T. If you need to bend your legs slightly, that's absolutely fine. Because if you find that here is difficult and you're slouched, that's not good. So you want to either have your legs straight and still be able to lift up, or bend the knee slightly so you can lift yourself up out of your hips. Arms are wide in a T without the ball moving, so the ball isn't going to roll and move about. I want you just to rotate and come back. Keep lifting, lifting, lifting. Imagine somebody's gently pulling you up by your hair, if you have any. Thinking of men. One more each way. You get a mini breather, and then we're going to repeat the exercise, but this time we're going to actually roll the ball. Oh, sitting stuff's always harder than you think. So, if you're going to rotate this time to the left, I want you to pull your left leg back. So you're going to think left leg back, right leg forwards, rotate. So the pelvis is now rotating with the shoulders. And back. Rotate to the right. Pull your right leg back towards you as you push your left leg away. And you may notice you can actually get further now, which is the plan. So it's good to do both, because one way you've got the pelvis stabilised and you're rotating the shoulders, and then this way everything is rotating in that same direction. So pelvis, spine, shoulders are all rotating the same way. One more each way. Well done. Ball away. Just take your hands behind you just to take the pressure off your back. Take the feet wide. So we're just going to rotate the knees left to right. So again, just gently mobilising into the hips. Back to centre. So I want you just to take your feet out a fair bit in front of you, and you can have just the top edges of your feet in contact. It's called long frog. And from here we're just going to side bend, stretch into one side of the waist, and up, and then the other way. And one side might feel tighter, my left side's definitely tighter. Okay, we're going to get another good stretch exercise before we change positions again. Obviously it's good to be strong, but we also need to be mobile. So we're going to straighten one leg out. Just place the foot off the other leg against your knee, so long as that's comfortable. You're going to slowly reach down the extended leg, and then take the free arm over on a diagonal. So you're aiming this hand for your foot. You should feel you're getting a stretch again into the lower back. On this side where the arm is over your head. So don't worry, you can rest the arm down on your knee. That's absolutely fine. You don't have to hold yourself there. We're just again trying to release some muscles, and then I'm going to come up and change that round the other way. Again, just slide your hand down towards your foot on the extended side. Free arm comes over on a diagonal, aiming your hand for your foot. This muscle that we're stretching can play havoc with your position in the saddle. If one side is tighter than the other, which often it is, that will shorten your waist on that side. So it just means you're constantly held in that C shape. through your torso. Again, if you're feeling one side a lot tighter than the other, that's a good stretch to do. So let me turn over the page. So we are coming into some upper back mobility now. So the ball is coming basically in the shoulder blade area. And feet are on the floor. Once you have the ball pretty much where, or your cushion where your shoulder blades are, support your head. And all I very gently want you to do is you're just going to gently rock over the ball. You get a lovely stretch into that upper abdominal area just below your ribs. And we're going to try and just lift the head and shoulders and try and lift the body away from the ball. So it's a sit up, but you're also getting loads of mobility into the upper back. So this is a direction the upper back tends to not do on a daily basis. So we're just creating it using the ball, using gravity. My tummy's right here, excuse me everybody. And then once we've created the movement here, hopefully the next exercise that we do when we lie on our tummy, we'll feel like we can get more movement into that area. Again, I'm just trying to use the tummy muscles to lift you off the ball. You should feel like it is a bit of a sit up. We've also got that lovely stretching and movement at the same time. Last one. I'm going to again just mobilise into the rib cage here. So just gently resting on the ball. I want you to think about circling the rib cage around the ball. So we arch over the ball, we drop the ribs down on one side, come up, and then arch. Drop down on the other side, and then arch back over again. So many riders have broken ribs, broken collarbones, so quite often with those types of injuries, we get a bit restricted through that side of the rib cage, not surprisingly because you're scared about it being sore. Then that compromises the movement of the ribs later on. So even when everything is healed up, there still is this compensation where we don't really want to move that well through part of the rib cage. Change direction on your circle. Quite often, it's much easier for us to breathe into one side of the chest than it is the other. And so this, we're just gently just trying to mobilise ribs, mobilise into the back. Just try and make everything flow a bit more easily. Okay. Back to centre, well done. Let's take the ball out. And again, just lying down. See what that feels like through the upper back. Now again, it should feel lovely and flat and released. And then the last thing we're going to do is we're just going to place our head on the ball or head on the cushion. And just very gently, you're going to start to turn the head left to right. Yeah, just trying to release any tension in the neck area. Quite often, somewhere we do hold a lot of tension. Come back to centre. Okay. I'm going to roll onto one side, have the bottom knee bent, top knee is straight. And we're going to rest our foot or ankle on the ball. Again, this is a lovely exercise for just creating length into the upper body. So from here, all I want you to do is just try and push the ball away. So you really feel when you push the ball away that this lower waist lifts, and then bring the ball back in and the waist comes back to the floor. So push it away. Waist should lighten away from the floor, leg gets long, lower, push away. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And all we're doing is we're gently just flexing the spine left to right. It's going to be a movement that you need in your lower back to allow your seat to follow the horse's movement, because the rib cage swings left and right. And we're just allowing the spine to find that movement. Okay, so from here, push the leg away. Don't worry if you lose your ball. We're going to lift and lower, keeping the length in the upper body as we lift and lower the leg. 1, 2. Keep pushing that top hip away. Keep the length in the torso and spine. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and last one, 10. Well done. Slowly coming up. Gently grab this top shin and then reach. And then change it over, other side. Bottom knee bent, top leg is on your ball. And again, from here, you want to push the ball away, lift the waist away from the floor. Maybe completely different on this side, don't worry about it. Again, we're just trying to create that movement where the spine can flex in both. So I wave my hand about randomly. But basically you want the spine should be just flexing left to right as you extend your leg away. Probably have more movement this way by the feel of this. And we need this movement because as the horse's rib cage rotates left to right, that's what's allowing the horse's hind leg to come in underneath. Rib cage has to roll out of the way for the hind leg to come in and under. So obviously if we are not swinging left to right as much or symmetrically, we're going to affect that rib cage swing as well. So again, push the top leg away and then lift. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. This waist shouldn't be touching the floor. 5, 4, 3, 2, last 1. Well done. Okay. If it's possible for you to get your ball in between your ankles from here, perfect. And then we're going to turn and come on to our tummy. Nice and easy to begin with. Head is just going to be resting on your hands. And all I want you to do is just keep the front of the thighs down on the floor and bend the knees. Just as far as you can comfortably go, and then straighten again. And feel how coordinated this is. So quite a lot of us, certainly I find this when I first start this exercise, that you feel like the ball judders, that you get a judder as you lift your legs and lower them. I get it, we got on both. Middle bit actually feels not too bad. picking up actually on the way up now. It's got a lot better at the end. It's still a bit, and it's the muscles just trying to coordinate each other, try and allow this again to flow. So we're getting a wee bit of hamstring work here, and we're also getting length into the front of these thighs. So you're getting length into your quads, as well as working our hamstrings. Okay, last one. And then lower back down. So start just gently mobilising again into the upper back. So now that we've been rolling our back over the ball, we should feel like there's a wee bit more movement into that upper back area. So as we brush our nose across our fingers, sending the chest forwards to lift ourselves away from the floor. Stay looking down as you lift up, so don't crank into your neck and look straight ahead. Just let the eyes follow along the floor. You're not pushing yourself up with your hands and your forearms, okay? So you really want to try and keep them as light as possible on the mat as you lift up. So it's the upper body is lifting you up rather than you pushing yourself up from your arms. Just trying to get strength and endurance into this upper back area. So gently squeezing into the ball with your ankles as we lift. You're going to get inner thigh and some pelvic floor. For those who feel their lower back is happy, you're not getting any pain or twinging with lifting your head and shoulders away from the mat. You're going to very gently squeeze into the ball at the same time. Just float the legs away from the floor a fraction. And then lower back down. Right, if this is not comfortable, please just stick with the upper body. Because we're obviously now working both ends of the body to lift. And if it's just putting too much pressure on your lower back, just go back to the first exercise, please. Don't lift too high, even if you just lift a fraction at either end. And lower, so we're getting posterior chain, back of the legs into those glutes, into the back and the upper in between shoulder blade area. Well done. Okay, last one. And then just hands under the shoulders, push the hips back over the heels. Ball can come out for a second, so it doesn't go too far away. And just come into your child's pose. If you want to even take your knees wider tonight, or today, whatever time of day it is with you doing this, just take the arms forwards or have them lounged in. But with the knees wider, you're going to feel more into inner thigh. Let's breathe deeply into those ribs. Now we've mobilised into the ribs, can we breathe a bit deeper? Really breathe into the back, the body. Breathing deep into the tummy. Last time. Well done. Okay, so we're going up onto your hands and knees. And we're going to move the spine as well as get some hip extension here as well. So from a neutral position, we're going to lift one hand and the elbow, we're going elbow to the opposite knee. So good stretch into the back and then reach that hand and foot away. Don't go too high with the leg, so the leg doesn't go higher than the hip. Stay on the same side. So knee, elbow, reach away. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Other side. Core's having to work to keep everything nice and stable, so shoulders, hips should stay nice and square, but we're also getting movement into the back at the same time. So elbow, elbow, and reach away. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done. Hips onto heels. You can do the next exercise with or without your ball. Let's do it without for people who just have cushions. We're coming in to thread the needle here again, just to mobilise, to slowly cool down a bit. Keeping the arms in contact with each other. Palm is going to face up on the moving arm. As you reach that arm away, aim your ear for where would have been central between your hands. So think hips up towards the ceiling, keep the arms in contact, ear to the mat. And back up. 5 each direction. So mobilising into an area which is very commonly tight with riders. 2, 3, 4, 5. Other way, exactly the same thing. Arms stay in contact, hips go up towards the ceiling, ear to central between where your hands would have been. 2, or is that 1? That's 1. 2, 3, 4, excuse me, last one. 5. Tuck the toes under. Again, we're coming up into down dog, just to stretch into our calves, backs of the legs. So push into the toes, hips come up, trying to get the head through the arms, gently pressing each heel to the floor. If you can get both heels down, great. Let's hang out here for about 10 seconds, just stretching into these calves. Trying to create really like an upside down V with the body. Slowly start to walk the feet towards the hands. When you can lift your hands away from the floor, rolling back up to standing. Interlace your fingers, reaching up with the hands. Big arm circles. And give yourselves a clap. Well done. We've completed another one. See you next week.